Twitter notifications. So if you hear that coming through, I am sorry. My phone likes to yell at me. That's okay. That's how I stay in touch with everyone at like all times. Anyways, so I'm still waiting to see if okay, we are live. Okay, cool.
Okay.
No, it says episode 4. Wait, is it 4?
I think maybe.
No, it is 4 because we missed a week. Whoops. Whoa.
Yeah, it is 4.
Whoa.
That's right.
My tweet is wrong. God damn.
Oh, no.
Oh well.
Close enough.
Yeah, close enough. Oh, we're streaming from the future. This is next week. We're gonna talk about episode 7 of Dream Eater Mary and 6 of Centaur's Life. Yes. No. Okay. So. Welcome everyone.
Yeah.
We got another episode. We did it.
Sure did. We did.
Boy.
Yeah.
This week's been fun.
Yeah. This week felt like a really long week to me. I don't know why.
It really did. I have tomorrow off though, so I'm excited.
That's
probably gonna like do something. Maybe watch a bunch of anime. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
Yeah. There was some really big news this season. Or this week. Season. What?
Yeah.
So. Sorry, my throat is still off. Sony has acquired the majority stakes in Funimation. Sony has effectively bought out Funimation, which, dang.
Yeah.
From what I understand, this is an older article, but
yeah.
It sounds like Funimation's going to continue running how it is and under the same people. And it sounds like this might just be like them trying to take a step towards producing their own anime the way Crunchyroll has.
Okay.
They also might be integrating the Funimation service into the Sony streaming services Crackle, which I've never even heard about.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
apparently a thing.
Yeah, I've heard of Crackle before, but it doesn't seem like anything really big gets distributed through there.
Yeah.
I hear it's a lot of like comedy specials is what I've heard of.
Yeah, it sounds like they might start putting more anime on. Oh yeah, there's stuff like Community, Hot Fuzz. It looks like mainly comedy. But yeah, so Funimation is now officially Sony Funimation. Well, I don't think they're changing the name, but you know how Sony always puts their name in front of everything? It's like Sony Entertainment, Sony Marketing, Sony Sony Anime. So I mean, it's interesting. Hopefully it'll be beneficial, we're hoping.
Yeah, we'll see what this really results in. We'll see that in the coming months, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully they'll go, no, Netflix, we're not giving you anything else. Not until you air it properly, because Netflix has announced, this isn't on our list, but Netflix has announced a bunch of stuff they picked up, like Violet Evergarden, and there's something else that's like, I think it's like currently airing, and the article is just like, Netflix to stream in 2018. I'm just like, why? What is wrong with you? Like, yeah, like, not about that life, Netflix. Give us the second half of Little Witch Academia already. I want to know what happens.
Seriously. Yeah, I remember seeing this week just a bunch of things popping up like, oh, Netflix is going to show this thing, Netflix is going to show that thing. So, it's weird.
I feel like they must be putting a lot of money and giving a lot of money to those studios for it, because they cannot be making much streaming revenue, because a ton of the people want to watch it. Like, probably over half are just going to pirate it. As awful as that is to say, the anime community is very bad with pirating, so...
Yeah, it is.
And when you are airing it months after it's come out, it's not going to help, like...
Yeah, that actually makes it even worse.
Yeah, no, they're effectively pushing people who try to watch it legally to just not, because they don't want to wait and get spoiled. Speaking of spoilers, I have started to see Voltron spoilers. The first few days, I avoided them so well, and then I went on Tumblr, and it was like, this is a mistake, and now I'm starting to see them pop up on Twitter. I'm like, I gotta watch the last few episodes. That's probably what I'll do, like, tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, new season's pretty cool so far.
Yeah. I'm gonna get around to watching that show eventually. I swear.
It's good. It's space.
One of these
and
days.
It's totally anime, so we're allowed to talk about here. But yeah. So besides that, we have some other anime announcements. I talked about Golden Kamuy. I don't know how to pronounce that. Kamui.
Yeah. Kamuy.
Yeah, I don't know. I talked about it a while ago. But they have announced an anime for it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
The more information will be announced at a later date, but anime is coming. I also actually did get the first volume of it, and it is pretty good.
Cool.
It has a really realistic art style, and it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So, yeah, anyone who likes post-war gold rush. So, it's really interesting because like they don't talk about it in how they try to sell it, but it's not just that it says like they're finding a hidden stash of gold by corrupt criminals or whatever. But it's actually like way more intense than that. Like the criminals all have tattoos that make a map, but the way they've been tattooed is in a way that to make the full map you're supposed to skin them.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it's brutal and it gets brutal fast.
Oh, jeez.
And that's not really a spoiler because it shows up in the like second chapter, but
okay.
Yeah, no, it's like it's actually fairly brutal and intense at times, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. So our next bit of news.
Oh yeah, this next news thing. I just threw this in here because I'm a big fan, but Toonami on Cartoon Network is going to air Outlaw Star again. I guess on part of Adult Swim, they merged Toonami into Adult Swim at some point, and apparently late night they show some anime. They've been showing Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, and once that ends, they're going to be doing Outlaw Star next.
So just like replaying old stuff at night, like old cool stuff?
It seems like
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that is. So yeah, that's coming. That was one of the shows that I watched when I was a little kid and was really awesome. I went back and rewatched it a little while ago, and it's still pretty good. So that's a cool show.
It's one I've heard a lot about, but have never gone around to watching. I probably should.
It's kind of funny because it came out like literally the same time as a Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah, I'm just looking at it. It's like
the first episodes of each of them are like exactly the same. Because it's like two guys run a business, but they're down on their luck, and then a lady from space comes and brings a lot of trouble. And it's like, oh, it's so funny.
I need some more sci-fi. I've still been on my sci-fi binge, although I've also been binging like sports anime too. I need a sports sci-fi. I need to watch Bisquash.
What is Bisquash?
So Bisquash, my friend watched a while ago, and he explained it to me. It's people who play basketball with mechas, though, and it's like super freestyle and like fucked up. And there's like a guy who can't control how hard he throws stuff, so he like breaks people's arms and stuff. But he ends up dating this person who's just a huge masochist, and it's like apparently the whole thing is super fucked up. Wait, let me.
That sounds crazy.
I can't believe I still remember that name. It came out in 2009. Damn, I feel so old. You watch it when it was airing. So it's like the synopsis: on the planet Earth Dash, its inhabitants gaze on its moon, and the technological advanced lunar city of Moon Eyes with awe. Dan J.D., a boy living in Rolling Town on Earth Dash's surface, gets caught up in Bigfoot basketball, fast-paced sport played with giant Bigfoot robots. And that's the plot. There's 26 episodes. It's like, dang.
That sounds ridiculous.
Oh yeah, the guy who like can't control his power and stuff is called Haughty Ice. His last name is Haughty and his first name is Iceman, and he has the nickname Destroy Frozen Inferno. It's like, oh my god.
This seems like the right kind of ridiculous.
Yeah,
I might have to check that show out.
I think there's something like using the moon as a basketball or something. I can't remember. There's something ridiculous with the moon, I think. I remember being told. It's like...
Wow.
Yeah. That's one I've been meaning to watch forever and just never got around to it, but... That sounds perfect for what I need right now. Another new anime getting a season. They announced Dagashi Kashi is getting a second season. Hopefully, it'll actually be a good adaptation that isn't just 100% fan service. unfortunately, the key visuals are bad.
Mm-hmm.
The animation they had for the first season was perfect. The new one's a new director, a new
Oh
studio,
yeah.
which is why you go, oh, maybe like the adaptation will be better. But the art
Mm-hmm.
is so lackluster compared to first season. And the thing that pisses me off the most is they messed up the eyes, which is one of the most unique parts of the art in the show, is how the eyes work. Because no other anime really does eyes the same way as Dagashi
Mm-hmm.
Kashi in the manga and stuff. And it's like, it's it looks so lackluster. It's like, if they do a proper adaptation, it can maybe carry it, but I feel like just being used to the manga and the original anime, it would just not look good to watch, and I'd rather
Yeah.
just read the manga at that point.
Mm.
Which, my other hope is this gets the manga to sell in North America. But, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this got a second season. The first season it didn't go very well because
Oh
they adapted it terribly, but I guess
yeah. I
whatever
know.
director really liked it and was like, let's make more.
Mm-hmm. I guess it was just one of those shows that was just popular enough despite the quality.
Yeah.
Mm. I don't know. That first season was alright, but I don't know. It was a show I just kind of watched on a whim. I thought, this was okay. I didn't really expect it to get a second season, though. It's crazy.
The issue is they dragged out the scenes and the gags too long for the sake of fan service and
Mm-hmm.
for filler. I pulled
Yeah.
up the key visual and you can see just how awkwardly different it looks. If this will,
Oh, yeah.
like, that is Totaro and that does not look right. But I
Yeah.
don't know who the other character is, but yeah, no. I think they
Yeah.
should have gone more like Bijitsu, the weird like classroom one where they did, because there's also kind of like a they're not four comas, but they're gag mangas.
Mm-hmm.
And that one did 3 chapters per episode, whereas Dagashi Kashi did 2, and they really had to stretch it out and put in a lot of
Yeah.
like fan service filler, and it's really
Hmm.
bad. I feel like if they had done 3, it would have been better, because the pacing is a lot better, or even if they just did 4. Like, they should have gone full Nishijo and just done, like, short, fast, quick gags, and I think it would have done infinitely better as an adaptation. But fan service sells, so... Except in this case, because they did it so poorly. But God, that face, ugh. It looks nothing like what it used to. It's so bad. Same character. Same character. No. Oh well. Yeah, it'll still be interesting. I'll probably still check out. And then we got one more piece of news for new stuff. Which you want to tell me about this one? You there? Did you mute yourself? Hello? Hello? Am I alone? Lastly? Okay, I think there's something wrong with Lastly's audio. So I guess I'll just talk about this myself and hope he can get it fixed. That would be, it's probably what we'll have to do. So, yeah, our last piece of news for new stuff is our recreated spin-off manga about Megane, who I don't know who this is because I haven't seen it. And the official Twitter release, it's going to be a manga spin-off of Recrea's. It's called Chikujoin-san Hashagisuji. I should have read that before I tried to say that. Chikujoin-san is having way too much fun. The manga will launch on Sunday, so right away. That's today! Oh, it launches today. Cool. So it centers on the character Megane Chikujoin from the anime, and the anime star is an antagonist character, someone from dark urban fantasy, blah blah blah. She is part of Lies Real. It's a spin-off on her. I'm not sure. It doesn't look like there's much thought. I'm not sure if this is like the universe the character comes from or not. I don't really see much information about it, so Yeah, there's a spin-off about this character, whoever they are. Cool. Lastly, please tell. Oh, Lastly's internet died. He's restarting. So I'm just gonna keep going until he's hopefully back. So that's all the news we have. So we move on to the anime. I'm not used to doing this alone. It's like the lost episode all over again that we don't talk about. Anyways, yeah, we'll move on to our actual like book club portion, and it'll just be me. I'll do Centaur because Centaur is kind of lighter and easier, I think. So this episode of Centaur no Nayami, we start off where we left off last time with the Antarctican snake girl showing up, and the title of it is Antarcticans are like walking rumors because apparently they're just cryptids. So we start off in the classroom. Snake girl sits down right next to Hime. Who are you back? Are you back? I hear movement.
Hello again.
Hello, you're back. Thank God. Okay, I was just starting Centaur's life.
Oh,
I went over the recreators thing. I have no idea anything about it, but I did my best.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay, hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, hopefully
no promises, but
that's awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Centaur's life, number 5. Yeah. Antarcticans are like walking rumors.
Yeah.
Antarcticans are cryptids. Like, literally, because apparently they fly in UFOs, so...
Yeah.
So yeah, we start off where we ended last episode. I don't remember her name, but the snake girl gets to sit right next to Hime, who's...
They call her Su-chan?
Yeah, it's Quetzalcoatl. Yeah. It's Quetzalcoatl.
Yeah, Quetzalcoatl.
Sasasul.
Yeah.
I guess that's why it's Su-chan. Sasasul.
Yeah.
God, that's not good for, like, my list. Sasasul.
Sasasul. Huh. So yeah, she just joined the class, and everyone in the class can't stop staring at her because they don't know that it's rude to stare, I guess.
Yeah, and
He's
all nervous and like, oh no, and I actually really like her voice. It's like,
yeah, her voice. I don't think it really fits her image, but I don't know what kind of voice would fit better.
The thing is, it can't match the lips no matter what, and that's a part of the thing that's gonna make it not match. But I feel like with a long neck like that, you know how like you get the like deeper voice by talking in the back of your neck? Because of how long the neck is and the way it like reaches up, I feel like it makes sense that they would have a deeper voice, because like it's all from the back. It's all from the throat. It's like all from the back of the throat, probably.
Yeah. Okay, that does make sense. I didn't think about that.
But yeah, they do their little stand and bow, and she bumps her head and blushes, and it's like, aren't lizards cold-blooded? How do you blush? Which actually does get explained later.
Yeah, the teacher's trying to teach, and Hime looks over at Su-chan, and she's opened her mouth real wide, looking at Hime, and it scares her and makes her faint.
And it's just like rows upon rows of teeth.
Yeah. So some people carry her to the nurse's room, and Hime wakes up, and she's talking to Nozomi and Kyoko, and explains like, oh, she's real scared of snake people because of this movie she saw when she was a little kid.
And they're like, that could be discrimination. That's bad. You can't you gotta be careful. Like,
don't let anyone else hear you say that, because you might get sent somewhere.
But then they say it in front of a bunch of other people like a few seconds later, which is pretty funny. But yeah, it's kind of like, how do they have a movie with snake people as like a horror antagonist in this world where that obviously doesn't work? It must be American, but how does it? Like,
well, I was thinking, because at one point they actually mentioned that, like, oh, the version you saw was a remake of an old movie.
Yeah, maybe.
So maybe it's like here how in old movies there's like racism and stuff in old movies.
I think they wouldn't remake the movie then with how strict this world is. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me that this movie exists unless if it's like already this fear of snake people all around, and there definitely is a fear of snake people all around. Like,
definitely.
Like you see it later. They talk about equality, but they're like all just waiting for the snake person to do something wrong. And it's like, damn. But yeah, so
yeah, Kyoko comes up with the idea that in order for Hime to get over her fear of snake people, they should just watch the movie again.
Oh yeah, they talk about what happens in the movie too, where it's like the snake person eats a centaur like whole and then spits out just the skin and wears the skin to pretend to be one. The scenes I saw from it looked so hokey. It's like I want them to make an OVA where it's just that movie.
Just that. Oh, that would be so great.
Oh. It looks like a terrible B movie.
So when Suchan comes back, she comes in the nurse's room and she's just like apologizes, like, I was just trying to smile. I'm sorry.
I know, it's like, oh, so pure.
Yeah, so good.
Oh my god, she just wants to smile and be friends. And
So the four of them decide that they're gonna go watch the movie. Apparently, right that second in the middle of school, I guess.
I guess so they must be off. I guess.
Yeah, maybe it's the end of the school day. I guess I don't know. So they go to one of the club rooms that apparently just has a copy of it laying around and watch it, and then it's adorable because Hime and Sue have the exact same reaction to every single scene. And they both get scared by it.
Bonding and like.
Yeah.
But yeah, they tell the people in the club too, and the club are like, "So are you gonna sue them?" And it's like, "No, I just came to clear up a misunderstanding."
Yeah.
But I like how explaining the throw, like. How the jaw, it's not one that actually snaps closed, it just unhinges, but not enough to swallow something, like, because, as they say, they're not actually based off of lizards, they're actually closer to birds, which, they do say birds became lizards, so that kind of makes sense, and they are warm-blooded, so, the jaw kind of opens wide, but it doesn't really have powerful jaws because of like the long neck and stuff, so can't actually like bite, and apparently the bite would feel like a kitten's,
which is adorable.
No venomous fangs and can't swallow people, so they also can't constrict because their neck doesn't have that much muscle either, which I wonder if that's why the head eyes hangs down a bit, is because it can't just hold itself straight up constantly.
Oh yeah, maybe.
So yeah, we find more about these people, and then, yeah, they like, go back to class, because I guess it was lunch or something.
Yeah, I guess.
And they all want to ask her stuff about, like, what it's like, and we get a lot more world building about Antarctica. Apparently it's actually pretty similar. Like, she said, like, oh, it's a college town, so that's, like, pretty similar to where I'm from, or wherever. And,
yeah. They're like, not all of Antarctica is all snow and ice, and she's from apparently like a warmer part, and this region has similar weather.
Yeah.
So that's why she came here. And then they show a shot of Antarctica. She's talking about something, and there's like a picture of like some kind of nuclear energy plant or something in Antarctica. It's like, well, that's not there. Okay.
Yeah. What? Are you sure it's not there? Ooh,
yeah.
Illuminati. Oh yeah. They ask if they've been controlling humans from like behind. And it's like the lizard people have infiltrated the government. They're wearing people's skin and being in their bodies. Like, it's literally just lizard people. This whole it's great.
It's like, so good.
But yeah, because they do mention that they're warm-blooded as well, which helps them live in, like, a cold place. That explains the blush, which a snake blushing would look really weird, I think.
Yeah, that would.
Like, I don't know how it tinged the color.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's scales, right? Would it be, like, beneath the scales that blushes, or... the scales change? We just don't know. Pink lines just appear beside the cheeks, floating there. That's how blushes work.
Yep, that's exactly right. One of the other students asks her, "Oh, do you have a boyfriend?" And she kind of explains, like, "Well, no, but because like apparently there's one queen that lays eggs, and
the rest are just like." Well, we're almost all women too, so I don't really know much about guys. And it's like, My favorite thing though is the girl who asked us like enough of the pedantic questions. What about love life? Which is like the most pedantic thing. It's like it's great. But yeah, so it's like apparently snake people are almost all women. It's a utopia. No. Literally Wonder Woman. Literally Wonder Woman right here. But yeah, so they're like, oh, we find people we prefer, but if it's past more than just like platonic and into romance as the way humans see it, I'm not sure what the equivalent would be, right?
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting. I also am interested by the fact that apparently they're not just another subspecies of humans, but they're actually considered like a completely different species.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, because it's like apparently centaurs and like angel folk are related. They are part of humanity. But
they're all.
But Antarcticans aren't, and that's an interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder how that works, but.
I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Then kind of cuts to.
They meet up the next day.
Oh yeah.
Oh well, no. It goes to her bedroom first, and they talk about like. A ship was sunk by the U.S. and they're blaming Antarctica because U.S. is racist and needs to build a wall around Antarctica or something. But
yeah, build a wall and make the snake people pay for it.
So Sue gets really worried. People are gonna like see that and be after her, and so she's just like, I'm gonna hide. I'm gonna blend in. No one's gonna notice me.
Yeah, she like wears a little scarf around her face. She's like, I'm
like the burglar thing.
Yeah, it's like
it's like it hides nothing.
Try not to draw attention.
It hides nothing with your giant neck, but no one says anything because they're just like, is it like Antarctican fashion? Like, nope. It's really crazy though how in like it's like idiot that's just gonna bring attention to yourself and does a little like chop to the head. So many people just pull guns out of nowhere. You see someone like pop up around like a corner on a roof with a gun, and it's like I'm not sure if these are just regular people who are like racist and scared of Antarcticans. They can't say anything or do anything because that would be bad, but if the Antarctican does anything then they can. Or if they're actually like the public defender people who are doing plainclothes earlier.
Yeah, I think it's that one. The plainclothes people.
Yeah, there was just so many. It's like
there's so many.
So many. This girl just wants to live a normal life.
So there was one thing that came up in this conversation where Sue Chan mentioned that like she had to she has like a language instructor who was teaching her how to like they showed a little bit of like her like showing her emotions when you say things, and Nozomi says this thing like, oh, you learn a language by studying it, you don't learn by sleep learning. Like, wait, hang on, what? Sleep learning?
Yeah, what the fuck is sleep learning? Actually, World Trigger has sleep learning. I'm gonna say that right now. World Trigger's great. Watch World Trigger. There's sleep learning. If you can't get it from Snake People and Sentai, you can get it from a sci-fi show.
So this brings another question, like, why are they going to school at all if they can just sleep learn? This world is crazy.
Well, I don't know if the other characters can sleep learn, or if that was just like one of the rumors about Snake People. I think it's more than that, but...
That's true. It could be that.
Because you see them studying, and she doesn't learn at all. She can't sleep learn. Like,
that's true.
She definitely
She sleeps a lot. Yeah. She sleeps a lot, and she never learns.
Yeah. It's like, maybe some people just need, like, she needs to sleep that much to stay caught up with everyone else's sleep learning.
Yeah. So the four of them, they all go clothes shopping. They, because apparently Sue Chan is wearing her like traditional Antarctican clothes, which is just like a very plain dress
based off monk robes.
Yeah.
Style. It's like ooh. It's cute though, surprisingly. It's very very normal.
So they go clothes shopping and they get her some cute girly clothes, and they're like, oh, Nozomi should wear these too. And she puts on, they're like, oh, you look like a boy in drag.
And she gets really upset, and it's like...
Yeah. Oh, Nozomi's so cute.
Is trans. No, I just say that about every character. That's like... considered more masculine when they don't want to be. But
Mhm.
yeah, so then they do the like whole. We'll do your hair. And it's like, oh, they're gonna try to make her look more cute. Maybe it will. And then it's like, no, they're going full the other way.
Yeah.
Like the super comb back hair and the suit. Oh god, she looked like such a greaser. It was like
The suits look good though.
Su-chan,
Yeah.
like pulling off the androgynous look perfectly.
Mhm. Yeah. It's probably easier to pull off the androgynous look when, like, you just have a snake head, you know?
Yeah, you don't have hair and also kind of flat, but
Yeah.
flat chest. But yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
they the nurses talk about how I've never like changed like to fit for a tail for like them before, and they're like, well, you better do it or you'll like we'll both go to a correctional facility and stuff, or get the boss. And it's like, correctional facility sounds scary. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I wonder if we're gonna see one at some point and just see it like really messed up, or if they're gonna like do a tour of it. Maybe, maybe not actually send someone there.
Yeah. That'd be pretty interesting.
Halfway through, it just turns into like a horror but it's on sent to a correctional facility and like the abuse is there, and it's like, what am I watching? I don't think they'll go that far, but they might. Like, it might be a long con of hinting at it.
Oh,
like
yeah.
There's like 14 volumes. Who knows what happens in that time?
I kind of hope that they like never actually show any of that stuff and just keep hinting at it, because it's like the mystery of what it actually is way more interesting than what it
I think it'd be
probably
interesting
is.
if they did like a small tour of one of the correctional facilities, but they don't actually show like the inner like anything in happening. They're just like, this is our waiting room, this is the main thing, this is like when we bring people for intake before their process, but never show any of the actual process. Something like that. Make it look scary as fuck or something. But yeah, so
they decide to go see a movie next after they change all the clothes, and it's just Nozomi picks it, and it's some action movie thing. They never actually show any of it.
Yeah, it kind of skips.
It's just a short conversation at the end, and Su-chan is like, she just wants to understand people.
Apparently,
she just wants to learn.
Super into movies for like trying to understand the culture, because when you see her reading the news too, you see like a stack of DVDs in the back and like 2 laptops open. Probably one is like watching a movie while one is watching the news or something.
Yeah. So yeah, she's just super interested in learning about human culture and how humans live. So, yeah. That was that.
And they get ice cream at one point. The end.
Oh yeah. The end. Ice cream. The end.
I do think they mention when having the ice cream about the American bar, and they're like, they have no proof it was anti-Americans, and everyone here knows, like, you didn't do it. We're not in America. We're safe here. We don't care. So apparently America's not very safe and kind of racist. So it's just whatever country they're in, which is probably Japan, is like super worried about morals, but there might be other countries not as close, and they might mention that more in the future and play off that. So be interesting. That's Centaur's episode
5. Yeah.
And was next episode I didn't have any notes for next episode. I don't remember what was in like the preview.
Oh yeah.
Anyways, so Dream Eater Mary 6. Oh, before I forget, I forgot to tell you to watch Made in Abyss.
Oh yeah, I actually did watch that. I caught up on it.
I was wrong. This episode wasn't where it gets super real. Next episode is, though. I was a bit wrong with the pacing, but from here on out, it gets super interesting and super like you're gonna see. Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh. Oh,
I'm actually, if we could just talk about Made in Abyss for a minute here, I caught up on it, and I'm actually super interested in it now, because like the first couple episodes were kind of a lot of like building like the characters, here's what they're going to do and all that, and I wasn't super into it. But now it's like
building the world and the premise of the world from the outside, and now it's like discovering the inner like, actual what's in there.
Yeah, they're like actually in the world showing this crazy stuff and all these monsters. I'm like, oh, I'm into this now. This is much cooler.
the corpse weavers or whatever they're called that just echo the cries of help.
Oh, that's so crazy.
Yeah, and then did you see at the very end the person manning the telescope?
Yeah, the Ozin something, her name something like that. Yeah.
No. There's
the other one.
Yeah.
The other person.
The maid.
Yeah.
There's a maid in the abyss and maid in abyss. There's a maid in abyss and maid in abyss. It's perfect. I love it.
So good. Yeah.
Puns. But yeah, next episode with Ozin. Ozin's a cool character. Really interesting as a character.
Okay.
So it'll be. I'm excited for that, but that's like next Friday. So far away.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah.
I can't read ahead, boy. Damn it.
Anyway.
Back to our actual. Screw Dream Eater Mary. This is just like we're doing Centaur and we're doing Maid in Abyss now. No. 3 shows.
Oh.
But yeah, so Dream Eater Mary. We start off where we left off last time again. No new opens, so that's cool. And Yumeji's being stabbed. He's like, "Ah, shit, I fucked up," and he's laying on the ground, bleeding or whatever. He's like, "Everyone wants to do this like cool thing once." It's like, no, not everyone wants to get stabbed by a sword. No, not everyone wants to die. And she like runs off and just leaves her coat behind. It's like she could have dodged it.
Yeah.
The swords are only holding her coat in place. Like,
Yeah. So, and then it goes to the intro, and it comes back. Mary is very, very angry now.
She's also a keyblade wielder. She's a keyboard master.
Yeah, apparently. She has like weird keyring things on her hands.
Dream Eater Mary in Kingdom Hearts 3 confirmed.
Yeah. Oh boy. Sure, why not? That game's gonna have everything else in it. Why not? Just throw in some random anime.
Yeah. So
Mary breaks NG's swords and then breaks the moon and the entire dream.
She's like, it doesn't matter how many swords you break, as long as the moon shines down. Just like, okay, thanks for telling me your weakness destroys the moon. It's like, oh snap.
And so NG just has to retreat because with no moon, she doesn't have swords, I guess.
Yeah.
And just suddenly back in the real world, and Mary has no idea what happened, and Yumeji's like, "Oh yeah, I'm totally fine. Definitely totally fine. Nothing wrong."
And we see the other girl who Engi 3-piece is with, and her friend back up, and they're like, "I'm gonna practice trombone with you." It's all heedy trombone, and they're just like doot 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 doot, pretending to play. It's like cute, but also like wow, really.
It was so silly.
Yeah, after something that serious, it's kind of nice to have something silly like that, you know.
It was.
So they head on back home. Mary keeps freaking out, like, "You okay? Can I help? Like, you can use my shoulder. I can carry you." It's like, a hero never hurts.
Yeah.
Damn it, Yumeji.
So they get back to Yumeji's house, and then he goes up to his bedroom and like immediately collapses on his bed. And when Mary goes into his room, she's like, "I'm going to play video games." And she goes in, and he's asleep, and she's like, "Oh no, that's not good."
It's like not a good sleep. It's like feverish, and he doesn't look good. And,
Yeah. So it goes to inside Yumeji's dream world, and he's talking to John Doe again, and get like a big exposition dump this episode of John Doe, just letting people know what's happening.
Yeah, John Doe, seeker of truth. Like, I'll give you the truth. I'm all about the truth.
Yeah.
Truth is truthiness.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of just decides to help out.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, I'm not sure why, but
yeah,
he might have been someone like Enki. Like we don't really know his backstory. There's a chance he could have been like Enki and being like, "I want to defeat the other people here." But then it's like, "Oh, well, Mary can do it with this dude. I don't need to possess him to do it. Like, I can just tell him." Or he just wants them to defeat enemies for him, so then it's easier for him to take people over. We don't know.
Yeah. There was some part where he said, like, at the end, he was kind of ambiguous. So like, "Oh, I'm just really more interested in just learning everything that's going on." It's like, I just want the truth. It's like, we don't really know what side he's on, but like, it seems like he's kind of neutral for now. I'm sure he'll come up later a lot.
Yeah.
Surely.
Probably more so because it's an original anime ending too.
So he gives us a big exposition dump about the real villain of the show called Elchris, and how Elchris is like in reality, I think, and is kind of acting like a bridge to bring more dream demons over and letting them take over people, and then he takes over the dream demons or something.
Yeah.
Or he's like in charge of them.
His world is like a big lighthouse that beckons people across to this dimension. So I don't even know if he's doing it on purpose, honestly. It sounds like it might just be like a side effect of him existing. But then just when they show up here and they're stuck and lost and confused, he's like, oh shit, just do this for me. Just like work for me. But then he also goes and says there's another like dream demon that showed up here. Just as strong, called Mistelstein. So it's like, I think we're not going to actually get the full Heracles plot. And we're probably going to get, like, Mistelstein is, like, the anime original. So it seems like. I could be wrong. They could do both. But
I was thinking maybe it'll be, like, twist ending and Mistelstein is actually Mary. She just doesn't remember it or something.
Oh, maybe. Well, they said there was, like, that's someone who's descended already. But they also talked about someone who, when Heracles came down, someone else who got caught and pulled. Oh yeah, he also says Heracles came down with his like apprentice or whatever, like his junior, like it's someone under John Doe who Heracles took with him. So that's another reason he might actually be against Heracles, because maybe he like took his like friend or whatever. But yeah, so I think it's supposed to be Mary, because they say, oh, ended up here incomplete or wherever. It was different, and might be why she's stuck in the actual real world. But yeah, it'll be interesting.
There's kind of one other major important story thing going on in this episode. Was that
the cats turning into maid cats to fix him up? Yeah, that's
definitely
the most important part.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure.
And the other important part that was happening in this was that his friends at school were talking, because he missed a day at school because Yumeji was sleeping all day. They were saying like, oh, people have been I forget what they call it. Yeah, losing their dreams.
They like have no hope, and there's like they just don't care anymore. Which I feel like there's something else that did that, and I can't remember what it was. But
they were saying like, oh, they get lethargic and apathetic, and like they show some of the people that had dream demons that Mary defeated. It's like, oh, here's the girl who wanted to be a nurse, and she doesn't want to be a nurse anymore.
They defeated. That was the one that was destroyed by someone we saw off.
Oh yeah,
that's
right.
Might have been Angie, but it also might not have. We still
that's right.
shown directly, I think.
But so it's not Mary. It's someone else is doing that. Okay.
Yeah, they kind of hint that it's the girl with the long red hair, because she asks his sister, like, do you have a dream? But and it's also been hinted she's possessed, but I think that might actually also be a red herring. I think the person who it is actually the teacher. Because, hear me out, people want to pursue their dreams are going to go to a faculty advisor. Like him. Right? And there's also, like, even his own president's getting a dream demon. Like, they say there's more in that school, so obviously it's something with that school. But, like, he has the perfect chance to talk to people with the highest dreams and get rid of them, and then when they're doing the debriefing thing, he's just drawing rice. And that could be because of his, like, obsession with rice, but it could also be he just doesn't care about them and their problems, and maybe his dream demon's like, I'm just here in this world to eat rice and fuck shit up, and I'm all out of rice, so...
So I just realized, I think what's probably going to happen then is that the teacher is Elchris, and he's like the big bad, and then the long red-haired girl that we seen going around talking to people, maybe she's Mistelstein Jukai?
Could be. It could also be vice versa. Like, either one of them could be. They could both be. Because we also, again, don't know if Heracles is actually purposely going out of the way to hurt people. Like, the whole reason Engie's after him is because her sister followed him there and then she was killed. We don't know if he's the one who killed her or what's up with that. So.
So yeah, this was not like an action-packed episode at all, but it was very important. Explained so much of what's going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of lore stuff in it and plot stuff, but it also opens a lot of questions. I really also like the color direction in Yumeji's room when he's sick. It's just like super bright whites the whole time. Which
it was.
kind of, I think, hints at... I don't know, they do a lot of dark tones all the time, especially in happy scenes, so it always makes it kind of unnerving. So then in, like, the sad scene, to have it full white to contrast was really interesting.
Yeah. When they first showed his room and it was all white like that, I thought, like, oh, is his, like, room in the middle of a dream or something? But then it wasn't. It was just his regular room. That was a really cool detail. Of like, hey, something serious is happening here.
Yeah. It was interesting. But yeah, so he gets all patched up by Chaser John Doe, and his friend shows up and is like, I got a hero movie for you to watch, and he's like, yo, leave that here, we gonna watch it. And back up, and Mary's all like, yay! Oh. And then it kind of ends. It was mainly just a lot of dialogue. It wasn't, as you said, it wasn't very action-packed. But, preview for next episode, we get to see Mary in a maid outfit, and then it's a beach episode after. So,
oh boy,
filler, here we come.
Great.
Fan service.
Always gotta have that one fan service episode.
Yeah, of course. It has 13 episodes. Usually you just have 12. They need the one extra for the fan service. It all makes sense.
Great.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that's all of our shows.
It was.
Man, we're going fast this week. This is going to be a short episode.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, I thought it'd be going longer with, like, issues with internet, but we still have a bit more to go, though. We have some questions.
We do. That's right, we do.
Couple of questions from Necro once more, which also I really need to upload these. I've not been doing that. They're all up on Twitch, but just not on YouTube yet. A couple of questions this week. Greetings. Hey, what's up? I don't really have an intro for this. It's pretty random, so let's just hop in. Do y'all have strong connections for Western movies and shows like Disney, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and other various children's programming? I was thinking about how many times I watched movies at school. Way too much for reasonable education, but I didn't really connect with them the way many people did. They're cool, but not a major part of my life.
I don't know, like, when I was a kid, I did watch a lot of, like, Cartoon Network and stuff, a lot of cartoons, but then at, like, some point in, like, around like, middle school, it was when the, like, more adult cartoons started getting popular, like The Family Guy and Simpsons and South Park. Those, like, they're like, a little more, like, kind of edgy, I guess, or at the time, at least. And I wasn't into those, so I kind of fell off of a lot of cartoons around then.
They also use a lot of, like, repeated animation, so it's not like...
Yeah.
I mean, lots of anime does that too, but it's not as stylized and pretty a lot of the time, especially across multiple episodes, especially when you get 7 seasons. I was kind of the same. I like stories a lot. I love stories, and so I was super into cartoons and anime. I kind of fell out of, like, cartoons for a while as well when everything was just the popular stuff. I'd watch some here or there, but it was mainly anime, and then I was watching a lot of, like, stuff like Supernatural and Sanctuary and Stargate and, like, the hour-long stuff, but I found I don't actually like hour-long shows very much. I find, like, I don't like the pacing and the time. I prefer stuff around half an hour because I like watching, like, for an hour and a half. I don't like watching more than an hour and a half at a time, so I can't watch 2 episodes and stuff like that, so... I started getting back into cartoons because a lot of good ones started coming out, like Gravity Falls and stuff that had really interesting stories again and weren't just, like, jokes and nothing else. Like Teen Titans was amazing. I love that show. I need to rewatch it because I didn't see all the episodes because I just watched it on TV. But yeah, I had some friends who were like, oh, you gotta watch the rest of Jackie Chan Adventures, which then got this Twitch channel banned because I forgot to turn it off while watching once. Good times. But yeah, so stuff like Steven Universe and stuff I really like. I'm still super into cartoons. I love animation. It's one of my favorite storytelling mediums because you can do so much with it that you can't really do in other mediums, so... As much as people say it's childish and kiddie, I don't really think so. And then, Yeah, but watching stuff in school, we didn't watch too much. We'd watch some stuff, but usually it's like educational stuff, like, oh, here's a documentary thing. It's like, that was cool.
Yeah.
I like documentaries. The way they present information is really interesting to me, so.
Mm-hmm.
We also
at my
watched
school.
Princess Bride a lot for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah. It was, I don't know, my school, most of the time if we watched something, it was for English class, and it'd be like, oh, here's a movie adaptation of this book we read. And it was always terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Like it was like that thing where you don't really enjoy reading a book because you have to. So then having to like watch the story be told to you again. And on top of that, the movie isn't very good anyway.
The number of times I have seen and read Midsummer's Night Dream, because they're like, oh yeah, each grade you kind of change which Shakespeare one you watch, but just every year they're like, now we're gonna do Midsummer's Night Dream again. I'm like, what the heck? There was only 1 year where teacher's like, now we're gonna do Hamlet. I'm like, thank God. But yeah, so that I was sick of watching. But also French class, we used to watch Télé Français.
Oh.
Which, if anyone knows, Je suis un ananas.
You're a banana? What?
I'm a pineapple.
Oh, pineapple. My French is more than old rusty. It's
it's,
almost non-existent.
Télé Français, which I'm just going to play the opening here. Télé Français is a French kid show with a puppet pineapple that haunts every Canadian kid's dream for having to see it.
Oh, this thing.
Yeah, there's horrifying puppets. Yeah, I post this thing all the time. I'm like...
Yeah. That is terrifying.
Yeah, no, oh my god. So like, we just watch and they're like, then they'd be like, I try to explain what happened and what they're talking about here. I'm like, can't. They also had Les Skeletons, the skeleton kid, which is great. Probably shouldn't have played all of that, but I just want to like, show how horrifying this thing is.
Yeah, for my French class, we would, if we watched anything, it would just be like, oh, here's Finding Nemo, but in French. I was like, that's not learning much, but okay. God, that pineapple is terrifying.
Yeah, its voice, I need its voice. Wait, where's episode 1?
The following program.
Oh yeah, I did this countdown. Just listen to this thing's voice.
Bonjour.
It's so creepy.
Oh, that's terrible.
And here's where it says, Je suis un ananas.
Tu es un ananas.
Oui, c'est vrai. Je suis un ananas.
Yeah, Je suis un ananas. And I'll always remember that. And I quote that all the time. It's awful. So yeah, that was the most terrifying anime I've ever watched. But yeah, so we watched that a lot. We do have more to this, though.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Thinking about stuff I watch at school remind me of watching educational films. I specifically remember watching 2 on the same day. One was about a girl that burned her house down by having like 10 extension cords plugged together, then leaving a lamp on when she left for school. That's horrifying. I remember them placing a lot of blame on the kid for causing it, but I could be remembering wrong and siding with her. Anyway, the other one really messed me up for years. It's about a boy that injured his leg, got gangrene, and had to have his leg amputated. That alone is enough to mess with anyone, but within that same week, I stabbed myself with a pencil, broke the graphite off inside my leg. The very same leg that kid got cut off. Oh god. It was hella scary. Anyways, I go home and show my mom. She freaks out, and for probably a week spends like an hour every night digging at my wound, attempting to remove the graphite. Just go to a doctor. It's still there, and you can see where it's at, but it's caused no problems over the years. She had a really bad splinter when she was a kid, and her parents did all kinds of stuff from it. So she was traumatized by that and did the same to me. Yeesh, my stomach hurts now. Now for the stream, do y'all have any memories of educational films from school? So number 1, go to a doctor when that happens.
Seriously.
Go to a doctor, don't do it yourself.
Yeah. When in doubt, go to a doctor.
I understand if you're in America and can't afford it because America's bullshit, but go to Canada and go to a doctor. Speaking of educational films from school, Télé Français, right there. Yeah, no, that was ooh. We didn't. There's a documentary about the history of Canada. We also watched a lot, and I just sleep through it and then like answer every question right on history, and people get me to help, and it's like, The answers are all in the textbook. Like, this is literally just lifted out of the textbook with words removed you have to add in. Like, you could just... It was so easy, but yeah, it was nice.
I remember one time for a science class, a teacher got us to watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail because of that one scene where they're talking about like the airspeed velocity of a swallow or whatever. He's like, see, it's science. It's scientific.
I could also see them talking about the weight. It's like, if you weigh as much as a duck, you just see the big metal cage on it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the only memory of educational films I have. Monty Python is very educational.
I remember we were supposed to watch... We had done Catch in the Rye, and they're like, the movie adaptation is trash. We're watching Igby Goes Down instead. And Igby Goes Down, holy crap. It's way better than Catch in the Rye, but it's also really messed up. Like, the show starts and ends with the two brothers, like, suffocating their mother to death. It's like, what is this? Yeah, it's like a thing.
I think I've heard of that. I'm not sure.
It's very similar in themes to Catcher in the Rye, but it's done in a way that doesn't just make him seem like a whiny piece of trash. Like, he actually has reasons.
Okay.
Like, I know some people love Catcher in the Rye, but I could just never kind of relate to Holden, or whatever his name was, because, like...
I'm like the only person in America that didn't read Catcher in the Rye because I skipped the English class that was going to read it.
I wish I could have. Damn. It was so boring.
Everyone I knew that had to read it seemed to really hate it, so...
Yeah. It's like, some people love it. Like, you either hate it or you love it, but it's like, you have to really connect with him too, and I just couldn't find a way to. Like, his personality was so bland. Like, the story would have been interesting if he felt like an actual character, but he felt kind of like a light novel protagonist in that they're supposed to be for you to just self-insert, and I can't do that with those. Like, I can't do that with light novels and stuff. Like, I cannot like Kirito in Sword Art because he's, like, supposed to be this light novel protagonist, so he doesn't have much personality, but then he's a superhuman, and I'm just like, I can't do it. I can't. That's one of my issues with light novels. Like, again, with ReZero too, I just hate that protagonist so much. I can't. I can't get into, like, the self-insertion types of leads, and that's what he felt like to me, and I think that's probably why a lot of people don't like it. It's like, if you can self-insert, it's good. If you can't... When I read stories, it's not from a point of self-insertion, or if it is, it's never from the main character. Like... Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of light novels... I meant to bring this up at the start, but I bought the Strawberry Panic light novel because I read the manga, and I didn't know this, but at the end of the manga, it just ends on a cliffhanger, and it's like, well, that's all for the manga to be continued. Like, wait, what?
Yeah, but I never continued.
Yeah, and so apparently it's continued in the light novel, so I'm going to read that.
I'm not sure if it's continued in the anime either.
Well, no, the anime definitely continues past where the manga is. I've seen that a couple times, so...
Yeah, I plan to get that. I could never watch the anime. It progressed really slowly at first, and then the way they presented it first made it feel like a horror film, not like some fairy thing. So it's just, like, really off-putting. I'm like, this just feels really wrong for the type of aesthetic and stuff. So it's
weird, because the anime is, like, super serious. Or not super serious, but it's... pretty serious for the most part, but then reading the manga, it's like super lighthearted and silly a lot of the time.
But it's like the way they keep it so serious makes it feel like there's something else going on or something wrong in the background. Which
definitely.
Like, makes you feel like there's other plot, and it just makes it unnerving and off-putting. I'm like, this is weird. I don't like it. But I should probably read the light novel still.
I don't know. I've only read a couple pages so far, but I don't know if you need to read it.
I mean, I need it for my collection of gay stuff. I collect gay anime and manga.
Very true.
I have a decent collection. I still need to work on it more, though.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, is that about all we have this week, I think?
Oh, one last thing. I'm just looking at my notes here. I dropped 18F, finally.
Oh, you did it?
After 5 episodes. I'm like, don't forget this. Because I finally realized, like, I'm like the context I want for what is actually going on here is like in the game because it's a multimedia project.
Yeah, it's the game portion you'd need to do to get your proper
Yeah.
context. Yeah, that's
And
unfortunate.
it's like not gonna bother watching this if I am never gonna know anything what's going on. So
I did actually check out Clean Freak Aoyama.
oh yeah.
I watched one episode. It wasn't very amazing. It's like 3D animation, but not good 3D animation. It feels like, you know those shows are like 3 minutes and kind of have awkward animation? It feels like that a lot of the time. And then the plot just didn't seem very appealing. Like, it didn't push... Through the whole episode, they didn't really set up a plot point and stuff. It's just like, look at how wacky this guy is. Oh, you can't, like... adapt to him playing on your team. You better learn to. Oh, you did. It was like there was no overarching plot at hint at or anything. It was just kind of like weird and like it felt more like it was supposed to push you with like these wacky characters than actual plot. So I was just like, so I didn't really get into it and dropped after one.
Okay.
But that leaves room for best squash. I mean, wait. But yeah, so yeah, I think that's it then. So
yeah, I think that's all I've got.
thank you again, everyone, for watching. I hope you
Well,
enjoyed. I will hopefully actually upload these, maybe.
Yeah.
But
hopefully, someday.
yeah, I'm gonna sneak off while my throat still is holding up. So thank you again for watching and take care. Have a great day.
Yeah. See you next week.